Dave, you mentioned the Russos earlier. So let's talk about the Russos and their newest movie, The Gray Man, starring Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans, Anna de Armas. Uh, yeah, it's here, and
That's
this
right.
thing is propulsive. It is intense. It's a lot of action,
Expensive.
very expensive. Uh, did you like The Gray Man? I think is the
I
place to start.
I did like The Gray Man. I had a great time with The Gray Man. I thought it was a lot of fun. Great to be back with Ryan Gosling. It's hard to believe, but this is his first movie since First Man from Damien Chazelle, a movie that came out in 2018. Gosling took some time off, and he's kind of a cool choice for the more stoic spy character we all know so well.
Mhm.
It's a movie with plenty of flaws, but I really enjoyed it. I think the stuff that works is really effective, and I think it's just fun, And it's funny to see so many other famous people too beyond Gosling, Anna Armas, and Evans, because in various kinds of roles, you have Regé-Jean Page from
Mhm.
Bridgerton, you have uh, uh, Billy Bob
But-
Thornton, you have Julia Butters of Once Upon a
Yeah.
Time in Hollywood fame. This
Yeah.
might be your most significant role since that movie. Obviously, she's still quite young. Jessica Henwick in a very thankless role. Um, there's star power everywhere, which is always fun. Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, like the Gray Man takes a lot of things from the spy genre, that spy action genre, action film in general genre. It takes a lot of things that we've seen before, and we've seen done in a better way, usually too. It takes a lot of stuff. It's playing the hits in a certain sense,
Sure.
but I think because of like the gloss and the star power here, I think it's still a really fun time.
Yeah, it's just fun seeing Gosling and Chris Evans kind of going after each other in a way. I just
Mm.
found their whole dynamic really fun. And Chris Evans kind of sticking with this Knives Out type role. It
Yeah,
plays it really in a fun way. I don't know if I'd say it's a great performance, but it's at least fun.
yeah. In a sense, he actually is given less to need than you would think, because for a lot of the movie, he's kind of just back at HQ barking orders to his
Yeah.
assassins and his teams that get killed by Gosling. Um, but yeah, I think it's fun, even if he's like a complete cartoon. Like it's fun. It's fun to see Evans doing that. And, I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, Evans is playing off type again after Knives Out went so well. Then I thought about it more. I was like, actually, isn't Chris Evans as Captain America the one that's off type? Because if
So
you think
far.
about like before that, like 9/11 movie and Fantastic Four, the originals, this was actually his thing beforehand, right? And Captain America is where he like switched up what he does. And
Yes.
that's his most famous shit. So obviously people think of that first. But in reality, I think if you add up all his significant roles, I think this is actually more in line with the kind of performer he is.
Yeah, well, you even think about like Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Like
Yes,
he just plays
exactly.
that dick in that movie too. So yeah, great point, and he does it so well. I think he's just like he's so overly handsome. Like I don't even really know how to describe, it, but he's just
Yeah.
like too good looking. So he has to kind of be a dick, or it's like unbelievable that, and that's why Captain America fit him so well. Is like he's that perfect, pristine image that
Yeah.
they want America to have. But yeah, you know who actually I think stole part of the movie for me is an actor I wasn't even aware of, but Danush, who played Lone Wolf.
Yes.
When he shows up in this movie, and he is this formidable, unbeatable assassin
Yeah.
that Darmus and Gosling aren't able to stop. I really thought the movie picked up from there because I was like, oh, this actually feels like potentially this movie's going in a direction I don't think it's going to go in. And while I don't know if I like love the way that that all gets resolved. I really just thought his presence in the movie was great, and I actually kind of liked how his character ends up having more agency in the
Yeah.
movie than it seemed because it seemed like he was just kind of like this unbeatable foe, and then it
Right.
becomes like this person who is actually a person underneath all this. So I
Yeah.
could see him and Darmus teaming up in whatever sequel comes from this.
Totally. So I agree with that. I think one of the issues with the movie is they don't introduce Danush fast enough. Danush is a very famous,
Yeah.
successful Indian film star, and he gets introduced, has that one moment where he wins, right? And then they basically the next thing he does is say, tell the audience, foreshadow that this is a guy with some kind of principles despite being a killer. Oh, you have kids here, or you
Yeah.
have a woman, however he puts it. And then when he fights on Armus later, you know he's not gonna fucking kill her. And I feel like if they had give us a little more time with that character, with the lone wolf, I think those moments would have hit better. But because I had just met him, the fact that he like remarked that they have a kid there, like immediately stood out to me as a flag of foreshadowing. I was like, that's a red herring if ever I saw one, you know?
Hmm.
Um, that being said, we don't see Danush because we spend a lot of other time with these other big set pieces. You know, I
Yeah.
thought the early one in Bangkok, I think it was, where
Hmm.
when Gosling, Spectre Six, not yet Rogue, that one, I think lighting wise, very reminiscent of John Wick movies. I
Yep.
think that one's pretty thrilling. And then I think the clear standout set piece would be the next big one, which is in Prague, Vienna, the one where Gosling is handcuffed to
Yeah.
the wall,
Prague.
Prague, and all of Chris Evans's assassin teams are going after him. They're being engaged with the SWAT team, the local police, and it's just like three pronged, three fronted war in the middle of Prague, and Gosling is helpless for a lot of it. I thought that was really well done
Yep.
and really thrilling. And I think those set pieces too make you think of like what would have happened if there was perhaps more talented action filmmakers involved with this movie because
Hmm.
the Russo brothers, uh, very accomplished due to the Avengers movies and Civil War, but like, they're not at the same level as say like Chad Stahelski or
Yeah.
Chris McQuarrie or even Michael Bay. I think if one of those people was involved in one of those set pieces, it could have went down as like an all timer.
I agree. I think those are the two that clearly stand out. I don't know if Ryan Gosling does this intentionally, but I feel like his like very like flat affect in like an action movie with
Yeah.
like something like bright and colorful, like lighting his face up is like how I've just kind of come to think of him in my head a lot of the time. Like I think about like Blade Runner 2049 and
Mhm.
like that scene where Anna Darmus shows up or like whatever the billboard, whatever she is.
Yeah, she's like
And
a AI hologram or something.
yeah, and that like lighting, that like pink lighting that like lights up his face, and he's just so flat, like looking at her, is almost exactly what we get in that opening scene. He's just so like business mode. The
Mm,
fireworks are going off, lighting him up. But I really loved the tension in that scene. You know, you have Jean Page, who's screaming at him to take this shot from below this like
mhm.
glass floor, which is really, I think, just like a cool setup. You know, that he's like below, like doing this, and then that like fight scene with the Matthew McConaughey lookalike.
Right.
What's the name?
The other Spectre agent, I forget his
Yeah,
name.
yeah. Sierra Fork. Oh, Kellen Mulvey. I just thought that was an awesome fight scene with like the fireworks going off around them, and it really just sets up everything really well. That fight scene in Prague is so wonderful, especially because the whole time you're just like, how the fuck is Gosling getting out of this? Like, there's
Yeah.
no chance. And then when he finally like gets the gun and like gets onto the train, and then there's that chase scene going on too. I just thought that was fantastic. Another one that stood out to me was the plane fight. You know, where the like Lloyd tells these guys to like turn on him on the plane, and then he's like fighting from the plane. Very what was that Tom Holland movie recently? It was the
Cherry?
one after the one after Spider-Man, where he's like a treasure hunter. I'm forgetting the
Uncharted.
name. Uncharted. Thank you.
Yeah.
That it reminded me a lot of the fight scene from that movie as well, where like the plane is going down, he has to survive. Um, but really like thrilling stuff. And I agree. I think there was some potential like lost in terms of how this could have gone down. Like I guess the movie always kind of had to end with like a Chris Evans versus Gosling showdown, but I
Yeah.
felt like that like parts of that just like fell a little bit flat for me or didn't meet my expectations. Um, but there are just some scenes that totally electrified me.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did enjoy their final fight. Another obvious piece of homage where it goes into a hedge maze, very reminiscent of James Bond and Goldfinger, famously. Uh, and they had that fight, and they're really fucking each other up too. Is
Mhm.
that the moment where Chris Evans does that knife toss, or is that earlier? I
Yeah,
forget.
that knife toss is pretty sick.
The knife
Not gonna
toss
lie.
is sick. That's really well done. Um, and then that's the moment where Jessica Henwick has like her one thing to do.
Yeah.
It's like you
Other
kind of had a
than scream at Lloyd the whole time.
right, like I had a feeling like that was her like coming in to save the day. I was like, someone's gonna shoot her. Before
Mhm.
I was like, oh, it's gonna be Anna Armas, but then like she has to get the kid. It's like, who's gonna be a shooter? It's like obviously it's just kind of like, regardless. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Um, fun fact too, I did not expect this to happen, but that final set piece where everything goes down, that estate in France, Chantilly, I've been there. I've been to that
Ah,
place. It's like an hour from Paris. I was like, oh my god, they made a movie there. That's fucking crazy. When I went, it wasn't super busy. I wonder if that'll change now. I don't know, but I think actually in terms of other talent too, like the guy who captures Gosling, the passport like hacker dude, that's
mm,
Wagner Mora under some makeup and a wig.
yeah.
Didn't even recognize him. And then the woman who Gosling goes to see, who's like another one of like the retired CIA people, the one he sees in Prague. That's Alfred Witter too. Like all these people in like really small roles. Um,
You get Shea Wiggum for literally like 20 seconds near the end of the movie in a
that's right, the
flashback.
flashbacks.
Crazy.
Yeah. Um, How'd you feel about Regé-Jean Page as the bad CIA director? Because I thought that was a classic, like Dion Waiters, or not even Dion Waiters, the overacting. You know, it's like a bit. He's really going for it and like hamming it up, but it's like I don't know if he has the presence to stand with someone like Anna Armas who just oozes that. You know, like Regé-Jean Page, very handsome, very well
Mhm.
liked in Bridgerton, but in this moment, I don't know if he acquitted himself as well, where it was just a bit over the top for me.
Yeah, he's almost like trying too hard to be just this like asshole, and I
Yeah.
almost feel like he would have done better as like a computer hacker of some sort or like
Right.
support guy who was like helping them. I don't see I guess like he's kind of going for like the Chris Evans like move,
Yeah.
right? Where you're
Evans
like
doesn't have to try at all though to be an
exactly.
asshole.
And that's the thing is he's too nice. Like Evans kind of has this like duplicity to him, but like
Hmm.
Regé-Jean Page just is it seems like too nice of a guy. So yeah,
Sure.
thought that was a bit of a miscast, but I just was kind of like glad he got the look. He's obviously a
Yeah.
rising star, and we're gonna see him a lot more. But nice to see him in a big movie like this. What did you think of De Armas? Because I feel like the for being such a high profile actress at this point, she kind of is just in these like support roles like all
Yeah.
the time. And like obviously they have the John Wick spinoff or whatever it is. No, the James Bond
Yes.
spinoff. Yeah, John Wick spinoff
Yes. So she's
coming. But
allegedly starring in a John Wick spin-off film called Ballerina, which I think needs to happen after what we've seen her do in a supporting role in The Gray Man and a complete scene-stealing
yeah,
supporting role in No Time to Die
yep,
last year. She
exactly.
can do this shit. She's great at it, and she has such presence and charisma as a performer in general. So I want to see that. I want to see the bigger responsibility of a movie like that. As far as I know, there hasn't been a lot of movement or updates on it since. Maybe we'll find out soon. Obviously, she's a very in-demand artist. She has a very busy schedule, so who can say? But yeah, I don't think I don't want to say she was wasted in the movie. She's good and she makes an impression when she's around, but she's clearly a supporting character, which she's kind of I think risen past that,
Yeah,
for some time now.
totally. Yeah, I just wanted so much more of her, and I agree. I feel like every scene she's in, she really just steals it. She's a rocket ship at this point in terms of star. Um, I wanted to kind of wrap up this conversation today, just kind of seeing what your temperature is on Gosling at this point, right? I think he's top of mind right now because this felt very familiar. This is Drive.
Sure.
This is Blade Runner 2049. This is even First Man. They're all kind of in the same vein for him here. But then we got the Barbie movie coming out where he's playing
Yeah.
Ken. Like, what? I don't know how to make sense of that, and I also don't
He
know what
said
to
he did it
expect
for
for
his
that movie.
kids.
And I just where are you at with him right now? It's been a while.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm happy he's back 'cause it's been several years. He is a very charismatic performer and he does make a lot of good choices. He has been in some non-traditional star vehicles to this point, right? He's
Hmm.
not an IP guy. This is
No,
the closest thing he's probably ever going to get to something like that, right? Um, until Barbie, I guess. But who knows how like IP Barbie's going to feel for Gerwig and TBD. We don't know. Um, yeah, like I like him. I want to see him do more stuff for sure. Um,
yeah, me too.
it
And
feels like he's getting back in the swing. He took a very clearly intentional break, and then he
mhm.
happened to have that extended by the pandemic. Good for him. Good timing, I guess. But yeah, I think it's time now, right? Because he still got it. I think
Oh yeah,
in a stronger script too, he probably makes an even bigger impression. In the sense, he kind of has to play a stone faced character in this, which he can do very well, as we know.
hmm
Um, he doesn't really have that many opportunities in this movie to do a lot else besides that one moment where he talks about like his Sisyphus tattoo, the
hmm
Greek myth. other than that, it's like it's more or less him just being on the run and trying to live stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like
I,
to
I
see some
want
more stuff.
I want him to get back into the La La Land or the Nice Guys type of stuff. I want him to be doing like some different stuff where hit that like flat, but so perfectly timed, like he's the straight man, I guess, right? Like
Yeah,
in the Nice Guys, he's the straight man to Crow, and I just think he can do that so well. Like his delivery of like, does this plan involve me being alive? Because if so, we need to get me to a hospital now. A lot of blood, losing a lot of blood here. Like it really had me chuckling near the end of the movie. I thought that was great, and a couple other lines were really funny too. But I just want to see him doing something other than like this like flat person in an action movie, just because I think he's got so much more charisma. Maybe the Barbie movie will
yeah,
let that whistle for me. We'll see.
yeah. Barbie's his only movie on the calendar right now, so maybe we'll hear some more things soon. But
Hope
yeah, I
so.
mean, The Gray Man. It's now the most expensive movie Netflix has ever made, $200 million, taking that title from Red Notice, I believe, and Six Underground before that. Um, I like it more than those two movies. I think though, if we had combined Michael Bay from Six Underground with The Gray Man, and Marcus McFeely from the Russos writing still, I think we could have made a better film. Regardless, for the Netflix blockbuster standard, I think it's pretty good. The flaws are okay. Do you think they make a sequel? They set one up. This movie was so expensive. Do they want to go down that road again? Because honestly, this is a movie that would have made fuck ton of money in the box office for Netflix had they wanted to make that kind of money, but they don't. So, what do you think? They make the Gray Man too? The
I
Black
I,
Man, the White Man? I don't
I
know.
think we see it. I just I think it'll probably be the Armis driven, right?
That is a good pivot.
It's got to be like her, like you know, exposing or whatever because she knows all these secrets. Feels like it's got to be, but I don't know. Well, I think we get it. Do you?
Yeah, they want to make franchises, right? And
They kind of have to. They need something that,
right, Stranger Things is ending, the main
yeah.
version of it anyway. So, and I'm sure we're gonna hear tons of viewer data about how much they watch this. You watch this, so yeah, I think it's a good as thing as any they have to keep going. Why not?
Yeah, I think it would all depend on who they get to be in the Chris Evans type role too. Like they
Yeah,
need someone that charismatic and that like level. So we'll see. Maybe,
right.
maybe Jean Page at that point gets Regé Jean Page gets elevated to be
Yeah,
more like
that's a
that.
good
So
point.
well, we'll see.